The cameras flash like lightning in a storm, and Kim Kardashian walks through the chaos as if she's immune to it. Her expression is calm, her walk deliberate, and her silence deafening. Around her, photographers yell, fans scream, and security tightens its circle. Yet in that moment, everything feels perfectly orchestrated. Because in her world, nothing happens by accident. Every photograph, every headline, every rumor, all of it is part of a machine. A machine designed not just to keep her famous, but to keep her valuable. Because when you're the face of a $4 billion empire, attention isn't a luxury, it's survival. This is the true cost of cultural dominance, a life where peace is bankruptcy and silence is financial death. Beneath the contour and couture lies the constant ticking of a valuation clock. For Kim Kardashian, the empire she built is not held up by beauty or drama alone. It's powered by the invisible, relentless fuel of perception, the perception that she's always winning, always trending, always relevant. The public sees the glitz, the Vogue covers, the Hulu cameras, the flawless red carpets, but behind the curated perfection lies a far darker truth. Every chaotic headline, every viral scandal, every random public argument is a financial instrument, a way to keep the market, the fans, the investors, the media believing that the Kardashian name still matters. Because the second it doesn't, the billions begin to slip away. When the Kardashians made its debut on Hulu, it wasn't just another reality show, it was a strategic maneuver by Disney, a $100 million contract wrapped in the illusion of entertainment. The marketing declared it the biggest series debut ever, and the internet went wild. Fans posted clips, tabloids printed glossy spreads, and Kim's face once again dominated every feed. But when analysts checked the Nielsen streaming charts, the true measure of what America was actually watching, something strange happened. The show didn't even appear. No top 10 placements, no massive surge in viewership data. The discrepancy between the hype and the numbers wasn't a mistake, it was the plan. That $100 million wasn't an investment in content, it was a marketing expense. For Disney, the Kardashians weren't storytellers, they were perpetual media generators. Their chaos was currency. Every paparazzi photo, every family feud, every meme was a form of advertisement, not for the show itself, but for the idea of relevance. And that's the genius of Kim's business model. She doesn't sell products, she sells perception. The television show doesn't need to perform, it just needs to exist loudly enough to make people believe she's still at the center of the world. The same way a luxury brand doesn't sell clothes, it sells identity. Kim Kardashian sells culture itself, but culture is fragile, fame ages, and relevance, once lost, is nearly impossible to regain, which is why her greatest invention isn't reality TV or even beauty, it's SKIMS, the billion-dollar shapewear empire that turned her from celebrity into CEO. In July 2023, SKIMS reached a staggering $4 billion valuation after a funding round that placed it alongside Nike, Lululemon, and Savage X Fenty as one of the most valuable apparel brands in the world. That valuation comes with impossible expectations. SKIMS pulled in roughly $750 million in revenue in 2023 alone, a 50% jump from the previous year. Those numbers sound like victory, but to investors, they're a promise of endless growth. And in that world, growth isn't optional, it's oxygen. If the brand falls out of conversation for even one quarter, that oxygen runs out. So every action Kim takes, every headline, collaboration, or scandal serves one purpose: to protect that valuation. That's why silence can never exist in the Kardashian household. Every week must bring noise, every quarter must bring controversy, because in the absence of attention, the empire begins to starve. This is why her public moves feel unpredictable, but if you look closely, they're perfectly timed. The Bush Thong campaign wasn't a mistake. It was a calculated disruption, a deliberate provocation engineered to trend. When people mock it, when they argue about it, when think pieces flood Twitter and TikTok, all of that outrage is free marketing. The angrier the internet gets, the more traffic SKIMS receives. Millions click out of curiosity, thousands buy out of subconscious recognition. And then came her unexpected turn in American Horror Story. Critics debated her casting. Was it a PR stunt? Was she trying to rebrand? The answer is simpler than that. It was a power move, a message to Hollywood that Kim Kardashian could invade any industry she wanted. The headlines weren't about her performance, they were about her presence. Once again, the internet was forced to talk about her, and when people talk about Kim, the SKIMS checkout page fills up. Her entire career runs on this formula: convert attention into sales, controversy into conversion, fame into funding. But beneath that clever machinery lies something more ruthless: the absolute refusal to let anyone else control the narrative. This obsession with control has its roots in the moment that started it all, the 2007 sex tape. It's the origin story no one can escape, the scandal that launched the brand. At the time, it looked like chaos, a personal disaster. But in hindsight, it was the first lesson in narrative ownership. When the tape leaked, Kim sued Vivid Entertainment, the distributor. Publicly, she fought for justice. Privately, she settled reportedly for $5 million. That settlement transformed a scandal into capital, shame into leverage. The tape didn't destroy her, it gave her a platform, and that was the moment the formula was born. If you can't kill a story, control it. Nearly 20 years later, the stakes are far greater. The world isn't watching one woman's reputation, it's watching a billion-dollar brand that depends on the illusion of stability. So when Ray J, her former partner in that tape, resurfaced with explosive accusations that Kim and Kris Jenner were under a federal RICO investigation, the kind of charge associated with organized crime, the response was immediate and surgical. The Kardashians didn't post an emotional rebuttal, they didn't issue vague statements, they sued for defamation. This wasn't about pride, it was about preservation. Because the accusation wasn't merely insulting, it was economically dangerous. A RICO claim implies criminal instability. Investors don't pour money into companies under potential investigation, so the lawsuit became more than legal retaliation. It became a show of strength, a performance for the financial markets that said, this empire is unshakable. This is the secret that defines modern celebrity. The courtroom, the interview, the red carpet, they're all the same stage. The product is Kim Kardashian, and the performance is permanence. Every scandal must be monetized. Every threat must be neutralized. Every headline must feed the myth that she's untouchable. But that myth comes with a cost. The price of dominance is the constant erosion of authenticity. In private, she may crave silence, but in public, silence equals invisibility. And invisibility, in her world, equals collapse. So even pain must be packaged, even vulnerability must be marketed. When Kim cries on camera, it isn't random, it's part of the content architecture. The emotion is real, but its timing is strategic. It reminds the audience she's human, just long enough to keep them engaged, but not long enough to make her fragile. This is the paradox of Kim Kardashian. She's both the product and the puppet master, both the billionaire CEO and the emotional commodity. Every part of her life, from her relationships to her wardrobe to her motherhood, is an asset within the grand portfolio of attention. Her marriage to Kanye West wasn't just a union of love, it was a merger of empires. Two brands, two audiences, two powerful narratives colliding. When it ended, the fallout became another chapter of marketable heartbreak. Their divorce wasn't private tragedy, it was public theater. Kanye's erratic statements, Kim's poised silence, the custody battles, all of it amplified her brand's new identity, the composed survivor, the businesswoman holding her empire together under pressure. And the world bought it, literally. Every scandal that should have destroyed her only made her richer, because when your business model is controversy, destruction is just another kind of growth. But there's a haunting irony to all this. The empire Kim built on control is now controlled by its own gravity. Every year demands louder stunts, bolder headlines, bigger distractions, because the internet's memory is short and the competition for attention is infinite. For every Kardashian post, there are 1,000 new influencers waiting to steal the light. That's the true tragedy of cultural dominance. It's not the loss of privacy or peace, it's the endless treadmill of self-promotion. The empire doesn't let you rest. You can't disappear for a year. You can't even disappear for a month. Every absence creates space for someone else to rise, so the game must go on. New romances, new ventures, new controversies. When you understand the machinery, even her most shocking moments start to make sense. The leaked texts, the viral clips, the spontaneous tabloid sightings, none of it is random. It's all part of an economy that trades in emotion. Because in 2025, attention is currency, outrage is marketing, and relevance is worth more than truth. When you zoom out, the genius and horror of it all become clear. Kim Kardashian has built a system where she doesn't have to win, she just has to stay visible. Her empire doesn't need love or loyalty, it only needs eyes. But what happens when the eyes move on? When the next generation decides they've seen enough? When the empire that lived on exposure finally drowns in it? That's the shadow that lingers behind every photo shoot, every lawsuit, every viral moment. In the end, Kim Kardashian's empire may not collapse from scandal, but from exhaustion. The world she built runs on constant motion, and even machines wear down. And maybe that's the true cost of cultural dominance, not the billions spent, but the humanity lost in the process. The empire isn't built on gold or glamour, it's built on noise, endless, echoing noise. Because for Kim Kardashian, silence isn't peace, silence is the end.